This is Part 2, Episode 93. As he spoke, he pointed at the carving with his right hand. The tattoo dragons charged toward the wood carving, creating sonic booms. The cultivators of Zhao that had gathered here all looked toward the wood carving. The carving was a symbol of hope, and was extremely respected in Zhao. The carving gently trembled and shined brightly. Then a ring of light extended from it and collided with the tattoo dragons. Boom! Boom! With a series of bangs, the tattoos that formed the dragons became unstable and weakened. Eventually, a majority of the tattoo dragons shattered and disappeared. The remaining tattoo dragons all became smaller by one size. The cultivators of Zhao all became excited when they saw this. What's this? This carving is indeed interesting. It would be a waste to destroy it. The Forsaken Immortal clan members' eyes lit up as he waved his hand and several ancient-looking tattoos appeared. These tattoos circled around him as he took a step and walked forward. The wood carving lit up once more. The ring of light expanded and touched the tattoos around the Forsaken Immortal clan member. The ring of light trembled violently, but it wasn't able to resist and in the end dissipated. With one step, the Forsaken Immortal clan member arrived at the top of Hengyu Mountain. He reached out and was about to grab the wood carving. But the light from the wood carving suddenly became so blinding that it lit up the whole area, but the disdain in the Forsaken Immortal clan member's eyes was still there. He reached out and pressed down on the wood carving. Even if your owner personally comes, I'll still take it when I want to. The man picked up the wood carving, took a look at it, and smiled. This is indeed a treasure. If there is a chance in the future, I want to see the junior that left this carving. The entire Hengyu Mountain became silent. All of the cultivators silently pondered. Their symbol of hope was so easily taken. It seemed like the destruction of Zhao was inevitable. The disdain in the Forsaken Immortal clan old man's eyes became even stronger as he slowly said, looking on the fact that I got this treasure, I won't be too hard on you guys. Give up and become a subservient of my Forsaken Immortal clan. I can promise you that it is much better than being under the country of Suzaku. My wood carving is not something you can take. A calm voice came from the void and shortly after, two figures appeared. The Forsaken Immortal clan old man suddenly turned around and looked behind him with a terrified expression on his face. What terrified him was that someone was able to sneak up on him without him noticing. The two people that appeared from the void were Wang Lin and Wang Zhuo. The moment the two of them appeared, some of the cultivators of Zhao recognized Wang Lin. Ancestor! Ancestor! One shout of excitement after another came from the cultivators below. Soon, these shouts seemed to be the only sound left in the world. Ancestor! Wang Lin let out a faint smile and nodded. The shouting became even louder. The Forsaken Immortal clan old man's expression was very ugly. The disdain in his eyes had long disappeared and was replaced with deep sense of dread. Sir, he opened his mouth to speak, but was immediately cut off by Wang Lin. Hand back my wood carving. Although Wang Lin's tone was bland, it contained a powerful aura. The Forsaken Immortal clan old man's expression was gloomy. At a glance, this person looked like he was at the peak of the late stage of soul formation. However, upon closer inspection, he could feel a mysterious power inside this person. He had heard of this power from seniors in the clan. This power was the sign of a soul transformation cultivator. After pondering a bit, he threw the wood carving toward Wang Lin without any hesitation. The moment Wang Lin raised his hand to catch the wood carving, the old man shouted, "Tattoos, explode." In the blink of an eye, a large amount of tattoos came from the wood carving and exploded, creating a powerful force. Wang Lin remained calm and pointed at the explosion with his right hand. The explosion was surrounded by a mysterious force and compressed into a small ball. The ball was filled with smoke and contained the explosive power of all those tattoos. The Forsaken Immortal clan old man's expression changed greatly. He never would have thought that his attack would be so easily blocked by Wang Lin. Soul transformation, he bitterly muttered to himself before turning around without any hesitation to escape. He knew that he stood no chance against a soul transformation cultivator. Unlucky. I can't believe a rank 3 cultivation country's ancestor is a soul transformation old monster. How did I get so unlucky to run into someone like this? The Forsaken Immortal clan old man's heart felt bitter. Just as he was about to leave, the sky darkened. A loud, tearing sound could be heard and a huge spatial rift appeared to block his escape. This old man stopped in terror. Did I let you leave? Wang Lin coldly looked at the person before placing a new divine sense into the wood carving. He threw the wood carving and it sank back into Hengyu Mountain. The old man's expression was gloomy as he slowly said, "Sir, according to the agreement, the country of Suzaku gave up all rank 3 cultivation countries for us to delay our attack on rank 4 cultivation countries. Do you want to break that agreement?" Wang Lin frowned and asked, "Who made the agreement with you?" "Zhu Qzi." The old man was startled. He glanced at Wang Lin and said, "Since Sir is a soul formation cultivator, you must know Qian Feng. It was him who represented Zhu Qzi and signed the agreement with our young master." Qian Feng. Wang Lin's eyes became serious. He had heard this name twice, once from Liu Mai and the second time was now. Wang Lin coldly said, "Ridiculous." He raised his right hand and pointed at the ball that contained the power of the explosion. The ball turned into a shadow as it flew toward the Forsaken Immortal clan old man. The old man's expression changed greatly as he pointed at his brow. A green light shined from his forehead. A giant plant with 6 leaves grew from the light and collided with the ball. Boom! The old man was forced back and coughed out blood. Not only did the plant coming out of his forehead not get injured, it shined even brighter. However, he didn't want to fight. As he backed up, he took out a purple stick. He used the stick to create ripples in the space before him, and he was about to charge into a ripple. The purple stick he used was a branch from the reincarnation tree. The Forsaken Immortal clan has a special method to use branches of the reincarnation tree to teleport back to the main reincarnation tree. Wang Lin's eyes were calm. He calmly raised his right hand and said, "Absorb." With the old man as the center, all of the clouds in the area gathered to form a ring and it quickly shrank until it was only 30 feet wide. The old man's face was filled with terror. The ripple that contained the power to teleport him lost its effect and collapsed. A powerful pressure came from all sides and landed on his body in the blink of an eye. He felt despair that he had never felt before. The panic in his eyes deepened as his hand formed a strange sign over his chest. He pressed down over his chest and clawed 10 bloody streaks. A large amount of blood sprayed out, and then the plant on his forehead absorbed the blood like crazy. The planet grew rapidly and filled the entire ring. The old man's face was fierce as he shouted, "If you kill me, there will be a lingering tattoo curse on you. If my clan's ancestors see it, they will kill you." The vein on his forehead was bulging. Although his life plant was already out, it was still unable to resist the pressure coming from the ring. Waves of cracking sounds could be heard as the 30-foot wide ring shrank to 10 feet wide. The branches from the plant shattered one by one. Every time a branch shattered, the old man coughed out blood and his face became a bit paler. Wang Lin was still calm and he even smiled. "I have already killed quite a few Forsaken Immortal clan members. Is this the tattoo curse that you speak of?" Wang Lin pointed at his chest and 5 balls of grey gas appeared. These 5 balls of gas formed 5 flashing tattoos. When he was attempting to reach the soul transformation stage, he felt these 5 masses of grey gas hidden in his body. They normally wouldn't do any harm, in fact, they helped his spiritual energy move more smoothly. That old man stared at the 5 balls of grey gas and his face turned pale. He could feel the aura of a 6-leaf shaman from the 5 balls of grey gas. The person who cast the curse was definitely killed by this person. Wang Lin calmly glanced at the old man as his right hand reached out and closed. The ring quickly shrank, and the old man let out a series of miserable groans. The plant with 6 leaves was crushed, and as the ring shrank, the old man was crushed into a ball of flesh and blood. The ring disappeared and the ball of flesh and blood turned into a cloud of bloody mist. With Wang Lin's cultivation level, killing this person was as easy as blowing off dust. He didn't even need to use magic treasures. After all, his domain was different from other soul formation cultivators, and it already contained some celestial spiritual energy. The current him was half a step into the soul transformation stage. The moment he obtains enough celestial jades, he will reach the soul transformation stage. However, there were simply too few celestial jades. Wang Lin looked at where the Forsaken Immortal clan old man died and began to ponder. Zhu Qzi wouldn't make a deal with the Forsaken Immortal clan. This is strange. There is also Qian Feng. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. All of the cultivators in the Qian Dao sect were very excited. They all looked at Wang Lin with respect. The white-haired old man walked out from the crowd. He bowed toward Wang Lin and respectfully said, Junior Zhen Fengxiao of the Qian Dao sect greets ancestor. Greeting ancestor. The moment the old man finished speaking, all the other cultivators also greeted Wang Lin. This sound was very loud and spread very far. Wang Lin shook his head and said, I'm not your ancestor. The old man took a deep breath and respectfully said, You became the ancestor of all cultivators in Zhao when you reached the soul formation stage 200 years ago in the Qian Dao sect. I hope ancestor won't reject the title. Wang Lin let out a sigh and looked at the land of Zhao. This was where he grew up. Now that more than 500 years had passed, he still recalled the past. Sometimes it felt like the last 500 years were just a dream. Lord Ancestor, if you aren't in a rush, please stay at the Qian Dao sect for a few days so that the juniors can pay their respects. The old man's eyes were filled with fanaticism and respect. Wang Lin pondered a bit. At this moment, Wang Zhuo sighed and said, Wang Lin, stay in Zhao for a few days. Don't you want to see fourth uncle's descendants? The old man looked at Wang Zhuo with a startled expression. Wang Zhuo was one of the most talented disciples of the Qian Dao sect, so he naturally knew who he was, but what he had just said was a bit weird. The old man took a closer look and found that something was wrong. Although Wang Zhuo looked exactly the same, his eyes were no longer the eyes of Wang Zhuo of the Qian Dao sect. They now displayed the passage of time. Wang Zhuo smiled at the old man and sent him a message using voice transmission. The old man's body trembled after hearing it, and he looked at Wang Lin with disbelief. He knew that this wasn't a lie, so he let out a bitter smile and respectfully said, Greetings, ancestor. Jing Fengxiao, you were a disciple I personally brought to the Qian Dao sect. Back then you were still a young man, yet in a blink of an eye, so many years have passed. Wang Zhuo let out a sigh. Jing Fengxiao bitterly nodded. He was still trying to comprehend what he had just heard. Wang Lin stayed at the Qian Dao sect. Aside from a few people from each sect, all of the remaining cultivators of Zhao returned to their own sects. In the Qian Dao sect, Wang Lin gave a lecture on Dao to all the core formation cultivators. This left a mark of Dao on them that drastically increased their chances of reaching the nascent soul stage. He did the same for the few nascent soul cultivators. He held nothing back, as he told them about his experiences when reaching the soul formation stage. From that day on, they were no longer confused and had a clear path. 3 days later, Wang Lin and Wang Zhuo left the Qian Dao sect. Before Wang Lin left, he placed down a formation for the Qian Dao sect. It would keep out all soul formation cultivators. Only soul transformation cultivators could break it. For a rank 3 cultivation country to have a formation like this was unprecedented. Normally, only a rank 5 cultivation country would have such a powerful sect protection formation. After doing this one last thing for Zhao, Wang Lin no longer had any more worries about the country that raised him. He then followed Wang Zhuo to silently look at the Wang family descendants. Then, in the ancestral home, Wang Lin saw Yu and her parents. Upon seeing Yu, it reminded Wang Lin of Da Niu and Zhu Yu when they were kids. He felt melancholy at this moment. Wang Zhuo took Yu as a disciple and passed down cultivation methods to her. Before Wang Lin left, he took away the Ji realm from the jade in the ancestral home and replaced it with his divine sense. Wang Zhuo didn't return to the Qian Dao sect, but stayed with the Wang family in the capital. 200 years ago, he was placed into a pregnant woman in the Wang family. He had remained physically close to the Wang family in both his past and current lives, so his feelings for them were far stronger than Wang Lin's. He intended to dedicate his life to protect the Wang family descendants. The matter with the country of Zhao was finished. However, Wang Lin still had one lingering thought, the Hengyu sect. This was the sect that set him onto the path of cultivation. Before he left Zhao, he decided to look for them. He spread out his divine sense, and all the various mountains and caves appeared in his mind. With a simple movement, his body disappeared. From memory, Wang Lin's figure appeared outside a mountain called Elephant Snake Mountain. Wang Lin looked around with a complex expression. There was a formation here. He didn't break the formation, but instead went through it and entered the mountain. Inside was a large cave. When Wang Lin entered the cave, he saw a lot of dust. No one had lived here for a very long time. There were 3 ancient words carved on a large piece of jade in the main hall. Hengyu sect. Wang Lin let out a sigh as he wiped away the dust and silently stared at it for a very long time. Shortly after, Wang Lin spread out his divine sense and walked to the side. He broke the formation that was protecting a door and walked inside. In there were rows of shelves with jades on them that were releasing faint, ghostly lights. There was a corpse sitting in the lotus position in the corner. The bones were in pretty good condition, meaning that this person had clearly died due to old age. The corpse's right index finger was pointing at the ground. Wang Lin walked up, wiped away the dust on the ground, and saw the words that were carved there. The Hengyu sect died with me. I have wronged the ancestors. I have wronged the ancestors. Wang Lin pondered. He took a step back, respectfully bowed, and said, Disciple Wang Lin greets senior. After letting out a sigh, Wang Lin picked up the jades one by one and scanned them with his divine sense. When he picked up one jade, he suddenly stopped. This old man's talent is lacking, so my cultivation won't reach a high level, but I have a strange comprehension of swords. It is as if my life is for the sword. However, I don't know why, but whenever my divine sense enters a sword, the sword shatters after one breath of time. There are no exceptions. The word useless is a good way to describe this old man. Since I can't use my divine sense to control swords, I can't use swords in battle. I'm a disgrace to my teacher. When I was 80, I had a dream that I was a sword spirit that swept the land. I was a king amongst swords. After I awakened, the sword from my dream remained engraved in my mind as if that was my life's pursuit, as if that was my past life. I gave up on trying to break past the foundation establishment stage and focused on swordsmithing. This idea was so powerful that it felt like I was possessed. I was completely fixated on this. I had to create this sword. After a decade, this old man was even willing to beg for materials to create swords. I have created several swords, but none of them were what I wanted, so I gave up on them. This year, the Hengyu sect faced a great calamity, because powerful enemies attacked us, so the sect was about to be destroyed. This old man was born in the Hengyu sect, and would naturally die in the Hengyu sect. This old man opened up his furnace one last time to create a sword. I was short on time, so I gave up on precious materials and used mortal metals, then I created a large sword. After creating the sword, I suddenly felt a sign from the heavens, so I coated the sword in gold and soon it was shining. Looking at the sword, the feelings I experienced in my dream suddenly came back to me. At that moment, I was back in my dream and I was this sword spirit. That was the feeling I had been looking for. I named the sword Wealth. Although this name isn't anything fancy, it was what I was feeling. My soul seemed to be completely merged with this sword, so I charged out and resolved the calamity for my Hengyu sect. Then, as I left a sword technique inside the sword. I hope future disciples will treat the sword kindly. Wang Lin put down the jade and closed his eyes. He was shaking on the inside. Although the main reason he came was to see what had happened to the Hengyu sect, another reason was to find out more about Wealth. A sword spirit in his previous life. This sword is exactly the same as the celestial sword. Could this senior's soul have contained a fragment of the celestial sword's spirit? Wang Lin opened his eyes. His eyes were sparkling. He pondered a bit before his body disappeared and left this place. When he reappeared, he was outside the Juming Valley. This was where his bag of holding was destroyed. Back then, he had to go into the spatial rift to find the sword sheath. After creating a spatial rift, Wang Lin entered it. This time his only target was wealth. That sword was created from ordinary metals, so I don't know if it could have survived inside the spatial rift for 500 years. Also, I don't know if the sword was destroyed along with the bag. Unfortunately, my cultivation level wasn't even high enough to notice the sword technique inside the sword. Otherwise, Wang Lin let out a sigh as he spread out his divine sense. Half a month later, Wang Lin walked out from the spatial rift with a frown. He had found nothing. I'm afraid that the sword has already been destroyed. I must quickly return to the soul refining sect and find a lot of celestial jades to reach the soul transformation stage. With that, Wang Lin disappeared. When he reappeared, he was inside an ancient transfer array, and then he disappeared from Zhao. In a rank 4 cultivation country on the western side of planet Suzaku. This country had already been taken over by the Forsaken Immortal clan, and the cultivators of this country had become servants to the Forsaken Immortal clan. Someone wearing a straw hat was currently standing at the edge of the country. He was covered in a golden glow. Wang Lin, you finally came back. Senior already knows that you returned. I hope you don't disappoint him. This person slapped his bag of holding and a piece of jade appeared in his hand. You helped me kill Li Yuanfeng and sealed the country of Shuiyu. I, Zhu Wutai, have no way to repay you besides giving you this jade. This jade contains Liu Mai's domain that I used my life to obtain. I hope you can fulfill Senior's hope and devour Liu Mai's Dao heart, and then become the next Suzaku. He took one step and disappeared. In an ancient transfer array in the country of Pailu, a bright light flashed and Wang Lin walked out of it. He immediately flew into the air and charged toward the soul refining sect. This video will end here.